want to take a couple minutes to talk about Luffy, how he has always done the right thing, even when it wasn't easy. I've had to do this myself personally in my own personal life, so I can attest to what Luffy has been doing with every single person and every town that he's ever come into. The only people that really support him in the beginning is his crew, and even then they didn't really support him. A lot of them look at Zoro, he's like, I don't want to be a part of this, and then Luffy's like, alright, I won't free you, and then he's like, okay, I'll join you, type of thing. Same thing with Nami. Nami was just trying to steal the treasures so she could buy the town for free. Usopp, he just wanted to have a ship that he could share with everybody else, and it's like, all of those people, they didn't believe Luffy at first. Luffy believed himself. He believed that his choice, his decision to become the Pirate King was going to be the thing that saved everybody. And he didn't he didn't expect all these other things to transpire, like running to towns that needed his help, that he was going to run into enemies that he couldn't defeat at first. Like, I'm thinking of the god from the Skypiea, where he had no idea how to defeat a Logia type at that point in time, and yet he found out a way to defeat him by doing the right thing. Same thing with him and Law and the Dressrosa arc with Doflamingo. He decided to step in and save Law in every single situation. Same thing with this most recent arc of Wano. He decided that he was going to take Wano on his back and he was going to protect the town, when this isn't what pirates do. The government has told us that pirates are bad, pirates are doing terrible things, and yet Luffy's over here making the hard choices to do what is right for those around him. One, I think he's just doing it because he is just a genuine, authentic person. He didn't want to have to be constrained by the rules that society told him to live in. He didn't want to be a vice admiral. He didn't want to be like his Uncle Garp. He wanted to be somebody that could live the life that he wanted to live. He wanted to be free. And it's a very hard thing to do, especially in today's day and age when we are bombarded with so much information, so much technology, so many different paths and options for us to take, where it's like, well, how can I do this? How can I find something that I am going to be proud of doing, and how do I create something that is going to be worthwhile? And that's where doing the hard thing will make an easier life, and then doing easy life things will make it a hard life. It's why Luffy has to stand up. It's why I've had to stand up, and I've had to grieve over aspects of myself and my life and my view that I genuinely do believe will benefit me in the long run. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Yes. And that's the thing that I've come to realize is, if we want to live a life of our dreams, if we want to become the Pirate King, if we want to become multimillionaires, if we want to live as if our favorite characters, or live in the shoes of our favorite characters, we have to do what they do. Because clearly these stories are coming into mind, into our reality, into our vision, into our sight, because there are aspects of them that we ourselves see. I don't watch as much One Piece as I once did. When I first did, I saw Luffy, and I watched around 700 episodes, maybe 560 episodes or something like that. I watched so many episodes, and I loved every aspect of it. And it was to show, like, hey, you can create a family anywhere you go. You can have those people around you. You can create environments that serve you best. And when you do go to different islands, different towns, different cities, different states, there will probably be people, dragons, demons, enemies that stand in your way, similar to Luffy. And by having a team, by having a crew, by having others who stand by you, it makes it that much easier to defeat those people. The people around you won't believe it at first. Like right now, I was having a discussion on Christmas Day with a family member of mine, and her and I, we were having a little bit of a debate because we were agreeing to disagree type of thing. I was telling her where it's just like, a lot of what we do is within our own minds, and we have the choice to live the lifestyle we want to live, which is it's a hard thing for us to do because it's just not how we've been conditioned. It's not how we've come to see the world. Whereas her point of view was, society, you have to follow what society's telling you. You can't leave your job. You can't do this. You can't do certain things because society puts these constraints on us. And that's when I was asking her questions. I was like, well, what if society wasn't doing that? What if it was all internal? Like, what if you were able to think within and create the story that you wanted to have within your mind? And she's like, no, society's the one that dictates it. And at the end, it was a really interesting conversation because her son was like, see, look, that's exactly what he was trying to say this whole time, because she finally got around to like my way of, I guess, viewing it, which that wasn't my whole intention. It was just like, what if you did look at it this way? What if instead of looking outside and saying that the world is to blame, what if it was I'm going to look inside and blame myself and figure out where I am at fault. This is what I talked about in yesterday's video, where it comes down to facing yourself. You have to be able to face yourself and overcome you before you can make any sort of progress. You can check that video out at the end of this video. I'd highly recommend it. And that's why with what Luffy does and what I've done is I have made tough choices. Like, I've had to understand that, like, Christmas, the holiday seasons, they're never going to be the same. Like, I'm 27 now, and I wish that society was going to be always, I wish the family things would always be the same. I wish that I could go back to having my childhood house and, like, being able to have that childhood experience of Santa and the world and everything around us. And it's just like, we grow, we evolve, we change, we have to move up. And that's where we have to do the things that are hard. And it's not always easy. It's not. It's worth it, though. Like, having those tough conversations, say, with your family, with your friends, with your brothers and your sisters, or with your grandparents or your aunts and uncles, with anybody that you are maybe struggling with communicating with right now, I highly recommend having those conversations with them. You might not be ready at this point in time. I wasn't ready when I first started learning. That's why I started studying. I started listening to content such as this. I started looking at the world in a different way. I started reading books. I started reflecting. I started meditating, going on hikes, doing things that other people wouldn't typically do. And they'd look at me and they'd be like, they just didn't understand at the time. But me, like, deep down, I knew that the things that I was doing was for the right reason. It's the same thing as Luffy. He's doing the things that he knows in his heart of hearts and his genuine, authentic heart, that he's doing them for the right reasons. He's here to protect. He's here to serve. He's here to provide value. He's here to save the people that need saving, because not everybody is as strong as us. And it's sad to say, it's true. Some people have the strength to overcome the evil, or overcome the demons, have the strength to get up time and time and time again. There's a quote that I remember. I believe it's from when they did the Nightmare Island and they ran into Brook. And the guy, I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. It was a shadow guy. And as you can tell, like, these videos are just, it's me riffing, coming up with ideas. As he was on top of, as he kept getting up, the guy, I remember the quote, he's like, "Why do you keep getting back up over and over and over again?" And Luffy was like, "It's because I'm rubber. Rubber always bounces back." And that's something that has just stuck with me, and it helps me get back up time and time and time again to make sure that I don't fall, to make sure that I can keep doing the right thing even when it isn't easy. Because I know 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, my life is going to be in a completely different place than it is right now. Because I wouldn't be here now if 5 to 7 years ago, I didn't read the one thing. I didn't start listening to podcasts. I didn't buy that $997 course that helped me how to make money on YouTube, which I've made one donation from your Asian host, which I appreciate that, brother. I truly do. It means the world to me, and it makes me want to keep pushing forward and doing even more and having these videos go wider than they ever have been. Even some of the comments that I had on one of the other videos too around the feeling doesn't change when I was referencing Rick, it's just like, you guys are saying these most amazing things. It's just like, dude, I scrolled through your channel and assumed you had a huge following and the 10K a month was from YouTube. You're going to be famous mad quick. This is a great format for discussing media. That, like, it made me feel so good, because there's been so many years. If you go back on this channel and scroll back, and it's like, I've been doing this for almost 4 years now at this point. And I just kept doing it. I just kept making videos because it was what I wanted to do for myself. So it's just something that I've continued to do, and I'll continue to do whenever I watch a new series or I watch a new movie, because it's like, I'm watching it anyways, so I might as well talk about it. And that's something that's hard, because it's like, a lot of people that I know, a lot of friends of mine, and this isn't a bash on them by any means. I've talked to them about this as well too. At least I believe I have. If not, shoot me a text or give me a call and we can have the discussion one-on-one, or just talk about this in person too, because I don't mean anything ill by this. All I can say is, when we have these, like, I could have given up. I could have stopped. I could have just been like, all right, you know what? I'm not getting the views that I want to get. And I could just be like, all right, I'm done. But I don't. I continue to move forward, because I know that what I'm doing, something's calling me to keep making these videos, to keep doing these things, to keep creating content in the way that I do, because it's different. It's something that I've never seen before. It gives me a way to talk. It lets me also see, like, the amount of shows and things that I've watched in the past, which is something that's always been a big part of me, is like TV. I don't know why. Well, I kind of do. It's just because that was the one thing that was always there for me, other than my dog at the time. So that was a hard choice for me, having to let it go back then. And that's why it's been so hard for me having to let go of, like, my family and traditions and certain things that we've done in the past, and me not having to be there for them as much as I once was. because this is where growth happens. At least that's what I like to believe. This is where we change as people, is when we step out and we go out on our own. Like, I can look back at Luffy and I can think like it was probably next to impossible for him. I mean, maybe not so much, because at a very young age he knew he wanted to be the Pirate King. Garp was like, nah, you can't do this. But I can think back of maybe Colby instead, when they were on that boat in the very first episode, and he was all confused how Luffy was like, yeah, I'm going to be the Pirate King, and he just jumped out of the barrel like happy as happy could be. And I really love that, because it wasn't something that was easy. It was something that was incredibly difficult. At least if I was in his shoes, I'd be like, this is terrifying. Like, if I had family members, if I had other people, which I do, who are close to me, it's like me going out and starting my own path and paving my own way would be something that just absolutely terrifies me. And yet, here I am. I'm making the progress. I'm taking the steps to achieve my goals in ways that may be unconventional to most people. And yet, I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change the decisions that I've made, just as Luffy wouldn't change the decisions that he's made. We all make choices. We all get to decide what we want to decide. We all get to decide what we believe in. You can believe that we watch characters and we have resemblance to them, or you can also believe that, no, I'm talking out of my, you know what? All I can say is test it. Look at it a little bit. Maybe go a little bit deeper than you have been, because by doing so, you might be able to start doing hard things that are the right thing, which will eventually lead to a future that you can be proud of. I hope you guys enjoyed these types of videos. I've really enjoyed making them over the past 30 days, and I may continue making videos every single day. I think they'd be cool. I might try it. We'll see. I enjoy it. Like, some get good views, some don't get as good of views, but it's just like, if I watch this TV show or watch a movie, I might as well share it. Like, that's at least my take. And if you like it, cool. You can subscribe to the channel. I think the button might have changed if I said that right then. Otherwise, I'll keep making the videos. We can have lives as well too. I'm trying to find out the best times to do those, because I do podcasts as well. Just another thing that it was the right thing to do, even though it was a hard thing to do. But it all comes down to, like, once we make that first initial step to try something new, the universe, God, ourselves, our friends, family members, everyone will start to conspire and help us in ways that we might not have ever thought possible. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of December, and I'll talk to you guys in tomorrow's video.